more. How many of you realize that? And it's not always going to be that you need new techniques for that, but what you need is a new attitude towards it. You can be hearing a lot of different things today in the market which says, hey, you know what? It's challenging times. Gas prices are pretty high. We had some electrical power problems, as you all know, and that's one of the reasons that my in-laws restaurant, Kim's, which is where typically we go for lunch, unfortunately didn't get electricity till today morning, which makes it difficult, doesn't it? And so that's why we won't be going to Kim's for lunch. We actually have a catering deli dropping us off food later on, and we can have lunch right here. The main thing which I want to emphasize about all of that is that times will always be different. Times will always be changing. The question is, how prepared are you in order to handle those challenges? Because if you are ready to handle those challenges, regardless of what's happening in the market, you are obviously going to be ahead of other people. There may have been a time in the past that you felt that all you had to do was show up at your work, phones were ringing, and maybe you went and met a few people, and like in the mortgage business, some of you who are here from the mortgage business, you know that maybe you had 2-3 appointments, you could go through the applications and approve them, get them confirmed, and you'd have a qualified candidate, close them in 4 to 6 weeks. That used to be the norm. Now, how many people do you have to see, or how many applications do you have to go through before you finally get somebody who will be actually able to go through in terms of refinancing or buying? How many? What is the percentage compared to before?
Probably. I mean, before it was like almost every client that came to the door, you could find some type of financing. Now structuring it and the details is probably maybe 1 out of every 5 or 5 people.
Wow.
That's so pretty good.
Yes. So it has dropped down dramatically. You could easily meet a lot of people earlier on, get them approved, whatever their situation was. Maybe they wanted to take out some equity in their house, or maybe they were in a situation where they were interested in maybe refinancing for some other purposes, buying, etc. And over a time period, you realize that was not going to be happening. So what you want to realize very quickly is that the market will always change. It doesn't matter where you are. And by the way, here is Rick Ruby, who will be speaking later on, so I'll do his introduction later on as well. What I want to emphasize here is it's not new techniques that you need to bring to the table. It is more the new attitude. How many of you can agree with me on that? It is the attitude of I'm willing to do whatever it takes in order for me to succeed. Because if you don't bring that attitude, you will find challenges even harder. You can get bitter about these prices going on and all this kind of stuff which is going on in your life, but it is easier to focus on a better attitude. It is important to start looking at it and saying, hey, what can I do now? How can I get the support network I need in order to get the business going to a point where I can really get to the next level, correct? That is the critical part in my opinion. The rest doesn't matter. And that's why we'll talk about a few techniques. Rick Ruby, who's very much an expert, who has had a very successful career so far, is going to be sharing his ideas as well. And the point is that you take away at least one golden nugget, just like Natalie was saying, that's enough. That's enough in my opinion. So good, so now that we have shared what we want to get out of the workshop, what I would like you to do is turn to the person next to you and share what is one of the biggest frustration you are facing currently in your business. What is one of your biggest frustration? Turn to the person next to you, and if you have like 3 people together, just share 3 people together. Okay? Go ahead.
Yeah.